بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين جل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our study of second chapter of seventh section. Seventh section is about causality, and second chapter is فانقسامات العلة, about divisions of cause. One way of classifying causes was to say they are either complete or incomplete. العلة إما تامة أو ناقصة. And we said we mean by tamma to have everything that the existence of ma'lul needs, everything that existence of ma'lul needs, or everything on which existence of ma'lul depends, if they are all together, this is called al-illatu tamma. It's called complete cause. For mujarradat, we said their complete cause is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But for maddiyat, for those things which are material, which have potential, in addition to having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need other things to come together so that they happen. Not because Allah is limited, because they are limited. It's not that Allah is limited. Then another classification was to say al-illatu imma wahidatun aw kathira. Illa is either single or one, or it's multiple. Like for example, sometimes we have for the same thing, of course not same thing exactly, same thing in type, different causes. For example, for heat, you can have multiple causes. You can have heat because of sun, because of fire, because of electricity, for example. Another classification was to divide it into simple and compound, basit or murakkab. Basit is the one which has no parts. Sometimes it has no external parts, sometimes it has no external parts, and even no intellectual parts. And the most simple thing is Allah, because has no external part, no jins and fas, and not even, you can distinguish between wujud and mahiyya, because he has no mahiyya in the sense that we use for mubjanat. His mahiyya is his wujud. Al-Hikmah mahiyatuhu in-niyatuh. Another classification is that cause is either near or far, qariba or ba'ida. When you have a hierarchy of the causes, then the one which is the nearest to the ma'lul, to the effect, is called qariba, al-illatul qariba. But sometimes it is far. For example, something that, like taking the souls at the time of death. Sometimes the angels of death do it. Sometimes Malakul Maut does it. Sometimes Allah does it. So there's a hierarchy. That cause which is the nearest one to ma'lul, it is al-illatul qariba for that ma'lul, and then it can be mutawassat or ba'id. So far, this is all discussed before. The next classification is al-illatu imma dakhiliyatun aw kharijiyya, internal or external. We mean by al-illatu dakhiliyya al-illatu al-maddiyya wa al-illa as-suriyya. As you remember, even from Aristotelian philosophy, this was the idea that there are four types of causes: al-illatul maddiya, al-illatul suriyya, al-illatul fa'iliyya, al-illatul gha'iyya. Very simple to make it very simple, we can use the example of a chair. You have a chair from wood. Wood is al-illatul maddiya, it's the material cause. But I am oversimplifying. It's a very classic example, but we are simplifying. So wood is the material cause. The form of the chair, because chair is not just wood. Chair in a special form becomes chair. So that form is al-illatu suriya. Then the one who makes the chair, gives this form to the material, is al-illatu al-fa'iliya, is the agent. And the reason for which this is made, which is, for example, to have rest, called al-illatu al-gha'iyya. What is the motive? What makes the agent motivated to do this? This is called al-illatul ghaya. Inshallah, we will talk about it in future. There is a difference between al-illatul ghaiya and ghaya. Ghaya is what comes later. If you want to be very precise and accurate, so it's better to say ghaya for actual rest. Why did you make the chair? In order to rest. So this was in your mind. But when can you actually rest? After you make it. So ghaya comes after. Ghaya is not illat. Ghaya comes after we make this. Illatul ghaya is the conception of ghaya before doing it, which motivates the fa'il. Yeah? And this is why they call al-ghaya, if it is in the form of illah, they say it's illatun lifa'iliyyat al-fa'il. What makes this agent motivated to do this? That is the conception, that the purpose that he imagines and he does it. In any case, among these four types of causes, we can make a separation, a distinction. Al-illatul maddiya, al-illatul suriya, these two are internal. That is inside the ma'lul. You have chair, wood, and the form are inside. This is called al-illatul dakhiliya or al-illatul muqawwima. Muqawwim means constitutes something. But al-illatul fa'iliya wa al-illatul ghaiya are external, they are khariji. Means they are not inside ma'lul, they are outside. Yeah? The carpenter and the reason that he has, the motive, they are not inside the chair. So one way of classifying cause is to divide it into internal and external. Internal includes al-illatul suriya, al-illatul maddiya. External includes al-illatul fa'iliya wal-illatul ghaiya. وَتَنْقَسِمُ الْعِلَّةِ إِلَى دَاخِلِيَّةٍ وَخَارِجِيَّةٍ. The cause is divided into internal and external. وَالْعِلَّةُ الدَّاخِلِيَّةِ. Those causes which are internal, وَتُسَمَّى أَيْضًا وَعِلَلَ الْقِوَامِ. They are called the causes of qiwam or muqawwim. Qiwam means they built this, they have built it, they constituted it. Qiwam means to give subsistence to this. Okay? ما بهش يقوم الشيء. وهي المادة والصورة المقومتان للمعلول. Madda, matter, and surah, form, which make the effect. They are inside, they make it. وَالْعِلَلُ الْخَارِجِيَّةِ. The external ones, which they are called ilalul wujud, the causes of existence. They are outside. They are reason for existence, or causes for existence. وَهِيَ الْفَاعِلُ وَالْغَايَةِ. وَرُبَمَا سُمِّيَ الْفَاعِلُ مَا بِهِ الْوُجُودِ the one from which existence comes. والغاية تسمى الغاية ما لأجله الوجود. ما لأجله, because of it we have existence. Why we are creating this? For rest. So غاية or علة الغاية لأجله, because of this the fa'il has done it. This is inshallah going to be discussed later more. Another classification which is very, very important, and we had good discussion about this before in previous book. Many things that we call illah, from deep philosophical view, they are not really illah, unless we use the term with some kind of expansion. The real illah is the one that gives existence. Al-illatul mufidah, the one that originates, gives existence. But many things are mu'id, they just prepare. Maybe we call them illah because anything that something needs, we call it illah. But mu'id is not really illah, it's preparing. For example, father and mother are needed for having a child. But they don't give existence to the child. They are not really originating cause for the child. And this is why father may die, mother may die, and the child may continue. Or they may not meet each other, they may be separate from each other, still the child can continue. But the cause which gives existence can never be separated. If the cause stops, ma'lul stops. Because as we said before, we need the cause not only at the beginning, also in continuity. You remember we said because the need which is in mumkin, that need is always there. And therefore, hadithan wa baqa'an, huduthan wa baqa'an, we need the cause. So, tanqasimul illah ila al-ilal al-haqiqiyyah wal mu'iddat. Another division is that illah is divided into true illah, true causes, or mu'iddat, means preparatory ones. وفي تسمية المعدات عللا تجوز. To call these preparatory ones illah is a kind of metaphor, because the real illah is the one that gives existence. فليست عللا حقيقية. They are not real cause, and this is why we call the other one haqiqi. So, what is the role of mu'iddat? Al-ilal al-i'dadiyya or mu'iddat, preparatory ones. What is the role? They just prepare the ground for gift of existence to come. They prepare the ground. Like, suppose, just as an example, like, you make a cast and then you pour something into this cast. If you don't have this cast, nothing is sent down because it will be wasted. You make it cast, you pour something, but then you can open this cast afterwards. Okay? إنما هي, this إعتادي, this mu'iddat, these preparatory ones, إنما هي مقربات تقرب المادة إلى إفاضة الفاعل. They only make matter nearer to the fa'il. They bring matter closer to the fa'il so that fa'il functions. Okay? Like the cast, or for example, like, sun is shining, you take something under sun. Sun is shining. You are not giving heat to it, but you are making the sun shine upon it. كورود المتحرك في كل حد من حدود المسافة. For example, if something is moving, imagine a person or a car is moving. In order to reach point B, you have to go first to point A. So, being in point A prepares you for going to point B, and being in point B prepares you for going to point C. But it is not that being in point A is the cause for being in point B. You just need to pass through this, and when you are in point B, you don't need to be in point A. But this was needed. You could not go to B without passing through A. كورود المتحرك في كل حد من حدود المسافة. When the thing which is moving goes into every piece of the distance. Masafa is distance. We mean, of course, masafa can be in, in a space. Every haraka needs masafa, but masafa is not always a space. If something, for example, is becoming sweeter, for example, there's apple or mango becoming sweeter, the masafa is not in a space. The masafa is the taste. So we simplify and think like distance. So to go in every point is needed before we can go to the next point. So it prepares for going to the next one. But it's not really the reason for going to the next one. It just prepares. It's not fa'il. Fa'il is the muharrik, the one gives motion. That's the fa'il. كورود المتحرك في كل حد من حدود المسافة فإنه يقربه إلى الورود في حد يتلوه. This would make him nearer to the had which follows, means to the point which follows. So A prepares him for going to the one which follows, which is B. Or instead of distance, suppose time. Before we reach 11 o'clock, we have to reach 10 o'clock. So being in 10 o'clock is needed for being in 12 o'clock. But in what sense? In the sense that you cannot reach 12 o'clock before going to 11, and you cannot go 11 before going to 10. But they just prepare, but they don't make the time. وَكَانْصِرَامِ الْقَطَعَاتِ الزَّمَانِيَّةِ. And like expiration of temporal parts. قطعة means part. Zamani means temporal. Yeah. فإنه يقرب موضوع الحادث إلى فعلية الوجود. Expiration of one time, like this hour or this minute, helps you to go to the next hour or next minute. يقرب موضوع الحادث إلى فعلية الوجود. It makes the subject closer to existence. Means without passing this point, you cannot reach the next point. So, al-ilal al-i'dadiyya are not really illah, in the sense that they are not causing existence, and they can be separated. Al-bana'u wal-banna. You remember in Bab Hadi Ash, for example, also we had this. Or the one who makes the clock and the clock. We said banna, the builder may die. The one who makes the clock or watch may die. Because their existence was not originating the existence of building or watch. Their existence was preparing. They used something which already exists and has some qualities and just gave it a kind of form. The real giver of existence can never be separated. If illah is not there, illat haqiqi, the real illah, ma'lul cannot survive. Yes.
So can we say in that case, the only illah which is haqiqi is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all of the dakhili, kharijiyya, basita, wahida, kathira, all of these, in reality, they're not, they all,
No.
in reality, they're not illah.
No. There are other types of illat fa'ali. For example, according to Mashra'un, those 10 ughul are also real illah. So we cannot survive without aql fa'al. Because according to them, Allah doesn't directly give us existence. Even according to Mullah Sadra, although he doesn't believe in 10 intellect necessarily, but he believes that al-wahidu la yasturu anhu illa al-wahid. So there is something between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the next chapter. Not the next, the one after next. Or, for example, you yourself and your mental images. You are illat fa'ili for them. Without you, they cannot survive. The nearest thing to understand creation is our relation with our mental images. Because they completely depend on us. They are our creation in a sense.
But the illah for my existence is Allah.
Yeah, no problem. So you are illah for this, then you have yourself illah, then that illah can have illah, and this is why we say Allah is illatul ilal. He is the cause of the causes, he's the ultimate cause. Okay, the next chapter, Al-Faslu al-Thalis, fi wujub wujud al-ma'lul inda wujud al-illat al-tammah. This is something that we already discussed, but we expand here. Ma'lul must exist if the complete cause exists. Fi wujub wujud al-ma'lul, in the necessity of existence of the effect when illat tamma exists, in the wujud al-illat tamma. It's impossible to have illat tamma and not to have ma'lul. This is one point. Another point is وَوُجُوبَ وُجُودِ الْعِلَّةِ عِنْدَ وُجُودِ الْمَعْلُولِ. And also in necessity of existence of the cause when the effect exists. What type of wujub is this? Who remembers? What type of zarura is this? When ma'lul exists, illa becomes necessary. Which type of three? We have three types of zarura. Zarurat bil-zat, zarurat bil-ghayr, zarurat bil-qiyas ila al-ghayr. This one is bil-qiyas ila al-ghayr. Ma'lul exists. We realize that therefore its illa must also exist. But this necessity is bil-qiyas ila al-ghayr, because ma'lul is not giving necessity to illa in existence. It's the other one. Illa gives zarurat bil-ghayr to ma'lul. Illa, if it is illat tammah, gives zarurat bil-ghayr to ma'lul, because ash-shay'u ma lam yajib lam yujad. Yeah, al-ma'iyatu amkanat fahtajat fa'ujibat. So the zarura which comes from illa to ma'lul is bil-ghayr. But the zarura which comes in our mind from understanding ma'lul to say that illa must also exist, this is called al-zaruratu bil-qiyas ila al-ghayr. Okay, remember these three types of zarura. إذا كانت العلة التامة موجودة. If the complete cause exists. What does it mean? It means you have everything. Illat fa'ili, if there are mu'iddat, everything, shart, mane, everything is as you want. shurut, conditions exist, obstacles, don't exist. Everything is as you want. Illat tammah. Can ma'lul say, I don't want to exist? It's impossible. If it's really illat tammah, then ma'lul must exist. إذا كانت العلة التامة موجودة وجب وجود معلولها. The existence of its effect becomes necessary. وإلا, if the existence of ma'lul was not necessary, what does it mean then? It means that ma'lul could be ma'doom. Then we ask, what is the illa for adamul ma'lul? Because both wujudul ma'lul and adamul ma'lul need cause. Remember we said, because ma'lul is mutasawiyatun nisba ila al-wujud wal adam. Whether it exists or doesn't exist, it needs cause. If al-illatu tamma exists and ma'lul doesn't exist, so ma'lul is ma'doom, okay? We say, this Adam, where does it come from? Adamul illah illatun la adam al ma'lul. We have then to have Adamul illah, but you said illah exists. So it's impossible. So if you say it is ma'doom, then its Adam has no cause, which is impossible. Because both wujud and Adam of ma'lul needs cause. وَإِلَّا جَازَ عَدَمُهُ يعني عدم المعلول مع وجودها مع وجود العلة التامة. If ma'lul is not necessary, it means that it is possible not to have ma'lul, to have adamul ma'lul with existence of illah. And this is problem. Because if you have adamul ma'lul wa wujud al-illah, then this adam has no cause. Because the cause for adamul ma'lul is adamul illah. وَلَازِمُهُ تَحَقُّقُ عَدَمِ الْمَعْلُولِ مِنْ دُونَ عِلَّةٍ. There is a problem here in the edition that I have. What do you have in your text? I don't know if your text is the same as mine or not. لازمه تحقق عدم المعلول. This has a problem. So the accurate is this. What this require or imply is that adamul ma'lul, non-existence of ma'lul, would be caused without reason, without cause. What is the cause of adamul ma'lul? Adamul illah. The cause of adamul ma'lul, because remember we said adamul illati illatun la adamul ma'lul. Why A exists? Because its cause exists. Why A does not exist? Because its cause doesn't exist. So non-existence of the cause of A is the cause for non-existence of A. Yeah? Non-existence of the cause of A is the cause for non-existence of A. But you said here illah exists. So if illah exists and ma'lul doesn't exist, then this non-existence would not have cause. Because the cause of non-existence is non-existence of the cause. And you said the cause exists. So this becomes without reason, without cause, without explanation. Another thing, ضرورة بالقياس. وإذا كان المعلول موجودا, if ma'lul exists, وجب وجود علته. It's necessary that its cause exists. Because how can then this come to existence if the cause was not there? ضرورة بالقياس. By considering ma'lul, our aql says that the illah must exist. وَإِلَّا, if the illah was not existing, جَازَ عَدَمُهَا, We could have adamul illah. If we had adamul illah, then we should have adamul ma'lul. But you said we have wujudul ma'lul. It's contradiction. Wa illa means wa illam yajib wujudul illah. If the existence of illah was not necessary, then its non-existence was possible. Yeah? If the existence of illah was not necessary, then non-existence of illah was possible. If non-existence of illah is possible, then it means that you have ma'lul, but with non-existence of illah, which is the cause for non-existence of ma'lul. With the contradiction. وَقَدْ تَقَدَّمَ أَنَّ الْإِلَّةَ سَوَاءٌ كَانَتْ تَامَّةً أَوْ نَاقِصَةً يَلْزَمُ مِنْ عَدَمِهَا عَدَمُ الْمَعْلُولِ. We said before that illah, whether it is complete or incomplete, from its non-existence, we know that ma'lul cannot exist. Because if you need 10 things, if even one of those 10 things are missing, you don't have ma'lul. So if all 10 is missing, or if some of them, you cannot have ma'lul. So whether altogether al-illatu tamma or just illatu naqisa is missing, you cannot have ma'lul. وَمِنْ هُنَا يَظْهَرُ. So from this it becomes clear. أَنَّ الْمَعْلُولِ لا ينفك وجوده عن وجود علته. This is very important. Existence of ma'lul and existence of its cause can never be separated from each other. Ma'lul and illah are not separable. Real illah, not illat mu'iddah. We are talking about real illah, illat haqiqi. Wujudul ma'lul and wujudul illah la yanfakkan. كما أن العلة التامة لا تنفك عن معلولها. Also from the other side. So ma'lul is not separable from illah. Also complete cause is not separable from ma'lul. But illat al-naqisa is separable from ma'lul. Because if the other parts are missing, you can not have ma'lul. But illat al-tammah also has to be with ma'lul. So, and this is why we have zarurat bil-qiyas. فَلَوْ كَانَ, this is very important conclusion. لَوْ كَانَ الْمَعْلُولُ زَمَانِيًّا مَوْجُودًا فِي زَمَانٍ بِعَيْنِهِ. If ma'lul is temporal, it's something which has timing. Not like mujarradat, which have no timing. If ma'lul has certain time, كانت علته موجودة واجبة في ذلك الزمان بعينه. Its cause also must exist in that time. Okay? But you have to be very careful about this. I will explain it later. Why? Because we cannot have ma'lul today and the illah existed yesterday. Or the illah exists tomorrow. If ma'lul exists today, illah must also be available today. If illah was yesterday, so why our ma'lul didn't exist yesterday? Yes? So if something exists today, its illah must also be available today, not before or after. Or if something is here, its cause also must be affecting here, not somewhere else. Otherwise, ma'lulas must be there. Yes.
How do you explain the creation of the human being in comparison to Allah?
Yes, that's I will explain inshallah. لأن توقف وجوده على العلة في ذلك الزمان, because dependence of the existence of ma'lul on the existence of cause is in that time. If ma'lul exists today, so when does ma'lul depend on illah? Today. Yeah, you cannot have illah another time and ma'lul today. فترجيح العلة لوجوده وإفاضتها له في ذلك الزمان. So the cause has to prefer wujud over Adam or Adam over wujud, yeah? Because it's equal. Mahiyya is equal. Both of them need cause. Here for wujud, the cause for wujud should prefer wujud ma'lul. Wa ifazatuha lahu, and should, ifaza means to give face, to give the grace of wujud, existence, should be in that time. وَلَوْ كَانَتِ الْإِلَّةُ مَوْجُودَةً فِي زَمَانٍ آخَرٍ. But if illa existed in another time, مَعْدُومَةً فِي زَمَانِ وُجُودِ الْمَعْلُولِ, and did not exist in the time that ma'lul exists. Illa was yesterday and ma'lul is today. And we know that al-ifadatu qa'imatun biwujudaha. Ifaza, to give grace of existence, depends on wujud illat. So if illa was yesterday, how can ma'lul be today and still receive grace from it? كانت مفيضة للمعلول وهي معدومة. If illa existed yesterday and ma'lul exists today, it means that ma'lul, which does not exist today, is still giving existence. This is muhal. How something which does not exist today can do something today? Okay. I said there is a very subtle point here. You have to be careful. When we say if something exists today, the illa must also exist today, it doesn't mean that all parts of the illa must be temporal. For example, in our case, if we exist in certain time, for example, you are born today, you didn't exist yesterday. Okay, so your complete cause was not available yesterday. The cause became complete today. Okay? We are simplifying because birth is not existence. We exist before birth, but we are simplifying. So if you came to this world of existence today, your illat tammah became complete today. Although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no timing. But as we said, Allah is not the illat tammah for maddiyat. Because for maddiyat, we need lots of other things to get together so that Allah would give the grace of existence to us. Okay? Like for example, knowledge. Allah is the ultimate and unlimited source of knowledge, but it's not that we all get knowledge. We have to seek knowledge. We have to have teachers. We have to, ask for guidance. So His existence is not sufficient for us because we are too dependent and too far from Him. There is nothing in His generosity, no problem. But the problem is in our qabiliyat. It's like, for example, a child cannot learn from a professor. Is the problem professor? So this child must, grow up, must have lots of teachers, so that then he reaches the point that can learn from the professor. Okay? So, when we say your illat must be today, it doesn't mean that all the parts of illah must be temporal. Some of them might be temporal, some might be eternal. Those which are temporal, some of them might exist today and other days, but there must be at least part of it which is only today. Because if everything temporal in your illah existed yesterday, then why you didn't exist yesterday? So at least part of your cause, which was temporal, must be only today. Okay? Like for example, you must have father, you must have mother. These are temporal, but they exist before you. But something must have happened that today you were born. Okay? There is something that defines the channel of existence for today. Makes this like appointment for today that the grace comes.
But the parents here are not Alata Tamma, and here we're talking about Alata Tamma.
They are part of Alata Tamma.
Did you say the Alata Mu'adda?
Okay? So Mu'addat are part of Alata Tamma.
Okay,
So Allah is there. There are many, many other things, but also Mu'addat are part of Alata Tamma.
Okay, how about we take the equation of, because we said when it comes to Madiyat, you need other reasons. Now, if we say before birth, our existence, mujarradat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Tamma.
We are not that kind of mujarrad. We are not mujarrad tam. We are jismaniyatul huduth. According to Mullah Sadra, we said we are jismaniyatul huduth. Means we are created as a result of development of body. Yes.
It seems from hadith that the existence of the Imam, whether he is present or in a quotation, is also one of these causes that has to be present, not just previously but today. We have hadith about the earth and the Bidayat.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems that if we are living today, that means the strength of that cause of the Imam also being there is also something that has to be today, not even one day before.
So there are two ways to explain that. One is that because every generation needs guide, then it doesn't have a direct link to our discussion. But if we believe that Hujjah is part of the channel of phase, Wasatiyya phase, then it's related to our discussion. If it is part of the channel through which Allah sends His grace to the people of the world, then we cannot exist without that channel existing. They can be following one coming after the other, but there must always be a hujjah, because without that it means that something is missing. Burhanun akhar, another argument. Hajatul mahiyatil ma'lula ila al-illah laysat illa hajata wujudha ila al-illah. When you say ma'lul needs illah, needs cause. Mahiyya of ma'lul, why needs cause? Because mahiyya as such doesn't need cause. Mahiyya can exist, can be also non-existent. Because wujud mahiyyat needs cause. And adam mahiyyat needs cause. Not mahiyya as such. Mahiyya as such is nothing. Nothing, I mean in the real world. Yeah? We can have mahiyya of human being without existence. Like dinosaurs. They have mahiyya without existence. So, it is wujudul mahiyya. So when we say mahiyya needs cause, what do we mean? We mean mahiyya needs cause for its existence. Okay? Hajatul mahiyyatil ma'lula ila al-illah. The need of mahiyya, which is effect for cause, is not except hajatu wujudha ila al-illah. The need of its existence for illah, for cause. وَلَيْسَتِ الْحَاجَةُ خَارِجَةً مِنْ وُجُودِهَا. And this need is not outside the existence of mahiyya. Its very existence involves need. Wujudul mahiyya, because it's poor, is dependent. You remember in previous discussions we said there are two ways to explain the need of mumkinat. One is to say that mahiyya is needy. One is to say their existence is wujud rabit and is needy. Their existence is not independent. It cannot exist by itself. It's like al-ma'na al-harfi, like the meaning of letter, like men fi elah, which cannot be without names which have independent meanings. So, ليست الحاجة خارجة من وجودها. Need is not outside the existence of mahiyah, in the sense that أن يكون هناك وجود وحاجة. It's not that it has a wujud and need, which are separate from each other. Why mahiyah has need? Because of its wujud. This wujud is the source of need. Because the wujud is poor, is dependent. بل هي مستقرة. They are not separate. بل, instead, rather, هي means حاجات مستقرة في حد ذات وجود ماهية. Need is there inside the essence of existence of mahiyah. It's essential to it. It's not external to it. فوجودها وجود الماهية عين الحاجة والارتباط. Existence of mahiyah is the same as need and irtibat, relation. Relation to means depending on the cause. فهو وجود رابط. So mahiyat is wujud rabit. We had before wujud istiqlali and wujud rabit. Wujud mahmuli, wujud mustaqil, opposite to wujud rabit, which is just like a link. Like when you say Zaydun mawjudun, there is a link between these subject and predicate, which cannot be understood without them. فهو وجود رابط بالنسبة إلى علته. So وجود ماهيات is a dependent, a kind of link for its cause and has no independence from its cause. وهي مقومة له, and the cause gives قوام to this wujud. Where does this is not self-subsistent. It is subsistent because of the cause. وَمَا كَانَ هَذَا شَأْنُهُ, and what has such condition, such situation, استحال أن يوجد إلا متقوما بعلته. It cannot exist unless it is built with its cause. معتمدا عليها, depends on its cause. فعند وجود المعلول يجب وجود علته. When ma'lul exists, illa must exist, because ma'lul is not independent. وهو المطلوب. This is what we wanted to say, that if ma'lul exists, illa also exists. Of course, it's very, I think, self-evident, badihi. When you want to explain it, becomes more difficult. Yeah. In any case, whether you look at it from perspective of mahiyah or from perspective of wujud, they cannot exist without illa. Okay? Then, inshallah, in the next chapter, we have very important discussion. Of course, here is very brief, but it's very important discussion, and that is about the rule of al-wahid. Philosophers say, al-wahidu la yasturu anhu illa al-wahid. If you have really one cause without multiplicity, or as far as its unity is concerned, then only one ma'lul can come out of it. But inshallah we'll study this next week. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.